A prisoner who had been sentenced to death was asked about his last wish. He said, "I want to spend my last night with a virgin girl. That is my final wish, that I be given a virgin girl for one night." Hearing this, everyone was shocked. Then, a brave policewoman, who herself was a virgin, agreed to fulfill the prisoner's last wish. But that night, something happened that the entire jail kept hearing her screams. To know what happened, be sure to listen to the story till the end. My name is Aliyah Hazan, and I am a 40-year-old female inspector. These 40 years of my life have been spent between courts, police stations, and prison walls. I have seen many criminals come and go. Some looked innocent, some ruthless, but there was one prisoner here who left me in a strange dilemma. Prisoner number 97. He didn't seem like an ordinary prisoner. There was a strange depth in his eyes, as if he was lost in a distant world. I couldn't call him completely innocent, nor completely cunning. Whenever I saw him, it seemed like he was immersed in deep thought. There was a mysterious calm on his face, but that calm felt wrapped in an unknown sadness. What hurt me the most was that he was only 19 years old. He hadn't even properly seen the world yet, and now he had to say goodbye to it forever. He spoke very little, as if he had no words, or perhaps he simply didn't want to speak. Many times, I felt like asking him, "What crime did you commit that earned you a death sentence?" But the despair and helplessness on his face silenced my lips. Working in the police had made me a tough-hearted woman. The profession itself was such. But looking at No. 907, I felt a strange softness in my heart, as if a question was silently taking birth within me. But the rules in jail were strict, and building personal relationships or showing sympathy to prisoners was prohibited. I received an order that in 2 days, prisoner number 917 would be hanged. During this time, he would be allowed to meet his parents one last time. Reading this order gave rise to an unknown restlessness in my heart. I was very uneasy with a strange anxiety that refused to fade. I knew that every prisoner sentenced to death is asked their final wish. It's their last right, whether they want their favorite food, to meet someone, or any other wish. We try our best to fulfill it. Prisoner number 973, whose name was Adil, was meeting his mother today. The woman was holding her son and crying, repeatedly saying, "Son, I am sure Allah will save you from this punishment." These words kept echoing in my ears. A mother's hope was astonishing to me. The sentence had already been declared, and no decision in jail is ever reversed. Yet that woman had full faith that her son was innocent, and some miracle would save him. That very day, I got orders to ask Adil about his last wish and allow him to meet his family. I thought he might just say he wanted to spend a little more time with them, because at such a time, no one asks for something grand. But I didn't know that his final wish would be so strange and shocking that I would be left speechless. I went to him and, for the first time, tried to find the right words to speak. After a few moments of silence, I asked sympathetically. Adil looked at me and said in a low voice, "I have one last wish, and I want you to promise me that you will fulfill it." I assured him, "It is every prisoner's right. We will try our best to fulfill your wish." I was surprised how seriously he was talking about his final wish. I gently said, "Come, the SP sir himself will ask you about your last wish." I brought Adil to the SP's office. SP sir looked at him intently and asked, "Son, what is your last wish?" I was surprised to see how gently the SP was speaking to this prisoner. This was not common, but maybe he knew the truth, what his crime was and why he had been sentenced. Often, those who ended up here had committed minor crimes, yet received harsh sentences. While big criminals roamed free, Adil took a deep breath and said, "My last wish is that I want to get married once. In my life, I want to do nikah and spend one day with my wife." As soon as he said this, there was silence in the room. Everyone looked at each other in surprise. SP Sir remained quiet for a few moments and then said seriously, "Son, we can get you married, but who would marry you knowing that you will be executed? The next day, you are a death-sentenced prisoner. You are too young for your family to lure someone with money, and you come from a poor family. No one easily agrees to marry a poor man, especially under these conditions. Why waste your last chance? In life, tell us another wish, some food, someone to meet, "We're ready to do anything for you, but marriage. That's not possible. Who will agree to marry you? How can we arrange a wedding for a prisoner sentenced to death?" Adil replied with utter calmness, "SP sir, I've already said, my last wish is to get married. But don't worry, I'll tell you a way to make my marriage happen on its own." Hearing this, SP sir looked at him in surprise. For a moment, concern showed on his face, as if he feared Adil might demand to marry a female staff member of the jail. But what Adil said next was even more shocking. He said, "Just make an announcement in the mosque that Adil Hussein wants to marry a woman Woe is willing to become his bride, but only for one day, before he receives his death sentence." As soon as he said this, the room went silent again. Everyone looked at each other in astonishment. The request was so bizarre, it was hard to believe. Adil took a promise from us that if any woman agreed to marry him under this condition, we wouldn't stop her, and that he'd be allowed to spend the night with her. This cleverness of his made us think deeply. Das Piecer thought for a moment, then shrugged and said, "We are quite sure that no woman will agree to marry you under such terms. Why would anyone ruin their life just to become a bride for one day? What's the point? Why would anyone risk conflict with their family?" But Adil was unmoved. He calmly said, "Just make the announcement. That's my last wish. If no one comes, I won't ask for anything else. Then you can execute me as planned." We had to give in to Adil's insistence. We made the announcement in the mosque. Adil Hussein, who will be executed in 2 days, wishes to marry a girl for one day as his final wish. If any woman is willing to marry him under these conditions, she may come forward. Adil came from a poor family, and we were sure no girl would agree to this condition. But still, we made the announcement to honor his final wish. It all felt like a joke, something impossible. But exactly 1 hour later, a constable came running and informed us there was a woman at the prison gate dressed as a bride, and with her was also a Maulvi Sahib. Hearing this, the SP Sahib and I came out in surprise. In front of us stood a young girl, whose age would have been around 17 or 18 years. She had truly come as a bride, completely dressed in wedding attire. Along with her stood a Maulvi Sahib, in whose hands was the Nekka register. ASP Sahib asked seriously, "Maulvi Sahib, who are you? And who is this girl?" Maulvi Sahib replied, "This girl came to me and said that I should conduct her nikah and come along with her to the jail. When I asked her the reason, she clearly told me that her would-be husband would receive the death sentence in 2 days." We were all shocked. Maulvi Sahib continued, "I tried hard to make her understand, daughter. Why are you ruining your life?" But she remained adamant on her stand. She said she would only marry Adil. This is her last wish too, because she truly loves Adil. Hearing this, a strange silence spread in the jail. We could not believe that someone really loved Adil so much that she was ready to leave everything for him. As strange as it seemed, but we had no right to object. Our job was only to fulfill the prisoner's last wish. Maulvi Sahib conducted the nikah of Adil and the girl. As soon as the nikah was over, Adil spoke with a slight smile. "According to the promise, now you will send my bride to me. I want to talk to her, reminisce our old memories just one day. Then she will go away, and after that, you can hang me. I won't mind. My love has come to me, and that is enough for me." Hearing Adil's words brought a slight moisture to my eyes. True love is perhaps just like this. Fearless, selfless, I thought in my heart. But I had no idea that behind this Nekka was a story so shocking it would blow our minds. SB Sahib smiled and gestured to me and said, "Take the girl to Adil's cell and lock the door." I followed the order and locked them both inside the cell, then came out. I thought that in a little while the girl herself would get irritated and want to come out. But as time passed, I started to hear faint whispering sounds. It felt like someone was trying to open something. I got suspicious. Maybe someone was trying to break the cell door, but I was confident the door had a heavy and strong lock, which wasn't easy to break. I went back to my office, lost in thoughts. But suddenly, a spine-chilling scream echoed from inside the jail. I immediately got up from my place and ran towards Adil's cell. "What happened?" I asked as I peered inside. The girl in the bridal attire was standing with her veil down. Her breaths were uncontrollable, and her whole body was trembling as I looked closely. She Shivering, said in a faint voice, "Take me out of here. I don't." "Want to stay here?" I asked in surprise. "What happened now? You just got married of your own will. Has the madness of love worn off? Now you're thinking about your future." But she didn't say anything, just stood gripping her clothes tightly, as if something horrifying had shaken her up completely. I opened the door, and the girl ran out like lightning without saying a word. I locked the cell door and fulfilled my responsibility, then went back to my office to sleep. I had no idea that when I would wake up in the morning, a massive storm would have already begun. In the morning, SP Sahib entered my office in anger and shouted, "Where is prisoner number 97? I said in shock, "He must be in his cell." "Sir," but SP Sahib's face had hardened. "Go and check properly," he roared, and my heart started pounding rapidly. I rushed to Adil's cell, as always. I called out, "Adil, come near the door." But there was no response from inside. Sweat formed on my forehead. My heartbeat increased. I peeked through the window, and what I saw blew my senses away. Inside the cell, a person in male clothing was lying with his face towards the wall. My breath stopped. My hands trembled. I immediately opened the cell door and turned the person over. Seeing it, the ground slipped from under my feet. It was the same girl who had come the night before, dressed as a bride, to marry Adil. My eyes were wide open in shock. I stood there in disbelief, and at that moment, SP Sahib also arrived. As soon as he saw the scene, he too shouted in anger and surprise. "What kind of joke is this?" he roared. "Where is Adil? I wasn't even in a condition to answer." SP Sahib's anger increased. "This all happened because of your negligence. If you can't do your duty properly, then what are you doing here? Because of your mistake, a death row prisoner has escaped from jail." My mind had gone numb. I looked at the unconscious girl lying on the floor. She had taken Adil's place. It was all a deception. Adil had fooled us. He himself had escaped from the jail dressed in bridal attire last night. I had thought that this girl had come mad in love to marry Adil. I had thought she truly loved him, but it was all a conspiracy. Adil had used this very girl against us, and we, with blindfolds on, helped him. The girl was sitting in front of us. There was no fear or regret. On her face, she was completely calm and said, "You people didn't do right with Rehan. He did not deserve the death sentence." I replied angrily that only time will tell. She looked into my eyes and said, "He is innocent, and that too, time will prove." Her words made me even more furious, but I couldn't do anything. At that moment, SP Sahib strictly ordered, "Find Rehan immediately. If we don't catch him, what will we tell the higher officers 2 days from now?" He was to be hanged, and he deceived us and escaped. This is a matter of great shame for us. My heart started pounding rapidly. I still couldn't understand how such a big betrayal could happen to me. I had trusted a human, believed the girl's words, got them married, and in return, they threw dust in my eyes. To reach the girl's parents and find out the truth. But then it struck me, why not ask the girl herself? Maybe she would tell the truth. Finding Rehan would be very difficult. He had escaped several hours ago, we found out in the evening. While he had fled at 4 o'clock in the morning, who knows where he might be by now? I looked at the girl and said seriously, "I want to ask you 2 questions, and I hope you'll answer truthfully." Without hesitation, she said, "I'm ready to tell the whole truth about Rehan." I was surprised she was still calling Rehan her brother instead of husband. I asked sternly, "Do you really consider him your brother, or was he actually your brother? Why did you both put on this drama? Why did you marry him? And now, suddenly, you're calling him your brother. You two deceived us, Rehan tricked us and escaped from here. But remember, we'll catch him very soon and hang him." But the girl remained absolutely calm. Looking into my eyes, she said, "Believe me, that will not happen at all. He will come back very soon. He knows well where he can and cannot go, and most importantly, he's now married to me. I am his responsibility. He will never. He is not one of those who runs away." Was surprised by her words. She was saying with such confidence of that Rehan would come back. Was this realisable? Why are you so sure that he will come back? I asked seriously. She took a deep breath and said, "If you listen to my entire story, maybe your decision will change too, and you will realize what the real truth is." I fell silent. I knew this girl was still firm on her stance. If Faya asked her more questions, perhaps some more truth would come to light. "My name is Nasia," she began to say. "My elder sister was Ngojeto Rian since childhood. Rihanna was very brave and fearless. Rarely was there a time when he stepped back in fear of someone. He was the son of my father's uncle, meaning he was my paternal cousin. My father liked him. A Lotant trusted him deeply. When he engaged my elder sister to Rihan, he started visiting our home often. I was quietly listening to her story. The environment of our village was very strange. One night, Rihan and I came to our Hamito meet our cousin's sister. That day, father was not at home, and Rihan Bai had visited many times before since. He had now become a part of our household. At that time, only we two sisters were at home, no one else. I was making tea in the kitchen, and they were talking to each other. Everything seemed normal, but suddenly there was loud knocking at the door. I got scared. Was it father who had come back? I thought quickly. I peeked outside the door, but what I saw sent chills through my soul. 3 to 4 men were standing outside the door. Their faces were terrifying, and their intentions looked dangerous. From their appearance, it was clear they were not ordinary people but goons. Fear filled my eyes, but I had some relief. Thought Rihan Bai was with us. "Open the door, or we will break it down," a heavy voice shouted. I panicked and said, "We are 2 sisters alone at home. Please go away." But one of them mocked and said, "We know very well, Theed. A young man just entered your house. You can't fool us." Hearing the noise, Rihan Bai came outside. He opened the door and gestured to go inside. I quickly hid in my room, but what was happening outside was clearly audible. Rihan Bai stood in front of those goons. One of them said something vile, which made Rihan Bai's blood boil. But he controlled his anger. He acted wisely. There were 4 to 5 men, and he was alone. If he had gotten into a fight and something happened, we would have been left alone at home. So he calmly convinced those goons to leave. But this had become a daily drama. Every time father went out, those men would stand outside our house and start harassing us. Then one night, something happened that thought changed our lives forever. My elder sister was sleeping in her room in the darkness of night. Suddenly, the sound of crashing was heard. Someone was trying to forcefully enter through the window at that moment. Rihan Bai had also entered the house. He saw with his own eyes that one goon was about to jump through the window. Rihan Bai could not tolerate it anymore. When those goons tried to forcefully enter the house, a fight broke out. Thought changed our entire lives. In that fight, my sister Nasia was killed, and Rihan Bai committed such a crime for which he was sentenced to death. If we had been rich, if we had power, maybe all this wouldn't have happened. But in this world, there is no justice for the weak. Whatever Rihan Bai did, he did in his honor. He didn't spill the blood of any innocent. He fought to protect his dignity. In truth, we were not the criminals, Nasia said in a voice soaked with tears. But those people were who were unnecessarily poisoning our lives, fixated on our honor. Then she made a shocking revelation. During that same visit, Rihan Bai's mother had explained this whole plan to me. I was stunned. My mother also told Method she would sacrifice her second daughter too, but would not let her son be punished. Nasia said while crying, "Our family needed Rihan more than they needed me. Even if I had died, no one would have cared. So they sacrificed me so that Rihan could be saved. It was all a plan." Rihan Bai went overnight to meet a famous lawyer in the city. That lawyer was indebted to Rihan Bai because once Rihan Bai had saved his life. When everyone else abandoned that lawyer, Rihan Bai risked his own life to fight the goons and took him to the hospital today. That same lawyer was repaid the favor. The case went to court, and the truth came out. It was proven that Rihan Bai was innocent and he was honorably acquitted. If there had been any other honorable man in Rihan Bai's place, he might have done the same. Allah protected the purity of true love and sincerity. Otherwise, I've never seen any Onegat acquitted in such a big case. What Rihan Bai's mother said came true. Allah will not let you get the death penalty. You will soon be released from jail. And that's exactly what happened. This incident is still fresh in my mind. Whenever I remember it, my soul trembles. Life is full of such incidents. Some stories are forgotten with time, but some remain forever, engraved in the heart. How did you find this story? Do you think justice was done with Rian? Be sure to share your opinion in the comments. If you liked this video, please like, share, and don't forget to subscribe Beto the channel to hear more. Such stories will be waiting for your feedback. Allah Hafiz.